I ain't looking at me. Join this network.
CG upstairs should be good too. It's got the same password.
Um,
What's good, everybody? Oh shoot, let me. Sorry, a little bit too comfortable here at home. So,
are we on already?
yeah, we live. Uncle
Oh,
man.
man.
We live, baby. We live.
Well, let me get my J right.
So, hey everybody. So we don't got anybody on right now, but that's cool. So it's Cordell Gibson here with my Uncle Marcus, everybody's uncle, the neighborhood uncle. So we're here this week with Brother Empowerment. Dwayne Garnett is not with us this week. He had a prior engagement, which you know is big if, you know what I'm saying, he's not here for Brother Empowerment. So, you know, we're going to go ahead and make this happen. So it should pop up in a minute. So
Okay.
So, all right. So, how was your week, Uncle man?
That was good, man. It was good. It's a good week. It's almost over with. Thank goodness. That's all I can say.
Yeah, you know, Thursday, I was telling, Jay last week that Thursday is one of my favorite days now. So, because, Saturday is my absolute favorite day. But Thursday is one of my favorite days just because I know that Brother Empowerment's coming and the end of the weekend is right around the corner. So, I love it. So, hey, Tara, how you doing? So, who else we got? I gotta see. I gotta get up and see. So we got Isaiah. What's up, Isaiah, man? We got Lori. What's up, y'all? So, yeah, so,
Okay, there we go.
we're gonna do our thing this week. We got a bunch of topics, so we'll go ahead and get started. So, well, first off, I want to say that, we've been going with Brother Empowerment now for, this will be 6 months almost. I think we're at the 6-month mark. I ain't gonna turn your phone down.
Hey, man, what's your attitude, man?
Yeah, so we've been going 6 months strong now on Brother Empowerment, so we've been going pretty good. So I'd just like to thank everybody for tuning in with us, and supporting us, because, this was just an idea that Jay and I had, and we just ran with it. So, along with some other brothers too. I'm not going to forget the other brothers that definitely, have been supportive and everything. So, hey Kim, hey Natanya. So, I'm going to go ahead and, get into the topics. So, we have some really heavy hitting topics this week too. So I'm not even gonna, front on that. We have some real heavy hitters that I think are gonna really, really challenge us this week. So as soon as my computer starts being slow, I'm gonna get into it. Okay, so we good. So the first topic of the day is, one moment please. Well, Isaiah said him, but we're not talking about you, Isaiah. We're gonna just leave that out. So I wanted to delete that comment, but I didn't want to be petty. So, so the first topic is from Tory Newton, and so he said, should more men get vasectomies?
Absolutely. Most definitely.
Yeah.
If you at a point in your life where you have kids and you know you have all the kids you want to have, I would recommend it. It's much, much, much easier for guys to do birth control than it is for girls. I mean, for women.
Mm-hmm.
It is basically, I can tell you, I have a vasectomy and got it when I turned 40, when I knew that I wasn't going to have any more kids and didn't have any of my own biologically anyway, and didn't really think that I really wanted to have any at that point. I felt like I would have been too old. So it was like a 30-minute procedure, and pretty much had to ice yourself down for a weekend, and pretty much that was it.
Yeah.
So it was just very, very simple, and I just think it's just the ideal thing to do if you know you don't want any more kids.
Yeah. No, of course, y'all know my uncle just said he has one. I know a couple other of my partners actually had them done as well, and so, I definitely think that more men should look into it. Tara said it's easier to reverse as well.
No, we ain't reversing it. I mean, when we do it, it's a done. I've known people who have, contemplated reversing it, but I can say if you do it in your 30s, I can understand maybe reversing it, but once you get about 40 and you get up in that age group, most 40-year-old men have kids that are probably teenagers or going to be teenagers, so they're not really ready to go back into just all the stuff that goes along with a newborn and doing all that stuff over again.
Yeah.
But if that's what they want to do, fine. But it costs to have it reversed.
Yeah.
It's free to get it.
Yeah. It's super expensive, thousands of dollars to get it reversed. So, but I definitely will say that, you know, it's one of the things that I am definitely going to get once I have all the kids I'm going to have. I mean, I've been thinking about the future. I know that I'm going to get it done. And so I've talked to some other brothers in previous places where I've worked, and just in conversation about getting it done. And there's surprisingly, you know, Uncle, there's a lot of brothers out there who just are not receptive to it. You know, they just don't want to do it. You know, they're just like, no, I don't want to do that. You know,
that's that perception of, you know, everything then is working. If they cut something may not work. Yeah. Or, you know, it's just that whole, they just don't want anybody playing around in the man region and making any mistakes. But, you know, there have been probably now millions, if not billions, of vasectomies done. Yeah. And it's just, you know, it just is easier for dudes, and it is something that you should think about if you really can't afford to have kids, any more kids. Mm-hmm. And if you out here just impregnating people and having kids you can't take care of. It's just that simple.
Yeah. No, I think it's a very, very, you know, smart thing to do. And it's efficient. You know, if you don't want any more kids, like you said, you go ahead and get a vasectomy. Outside of, you know, the checkups and whatnot, you don't really have to worry about it. It's done. You don't have to worry about any accidents. You don't have to worry about any, you know, whatever. It's done. So to answer Tori's question, I think my uncle and I both agree that, you know, men should definitely look into vasectomies more often. It's definitely a good choice, and it's not as invasive as, you know, a woman, you know, getting her tubes tied and all that other stuff. So, you know, I think it's good. So we definitely agree that men should get more vasectomies. So, you know, that was an easy topic. So,
I mean, it's easy for dudes.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's so easy for women who, you know, don't have kids or may want more kids. And then, you know, you're back out there if your relationship didn't work, whether you were married or dating somebody or, you know, whatever relationship you were in, and you decide later down the road that you want kids. Yeah. And a lot of the men you are going to meet will probably have vasectomy. Yeah. So you're going to be at a place where it's like, okay, what are my options? Mm-hmm. And most dudes are going to say, look, because, and I can tell you from the way we look at it from dudes, everything is not financial, but it plays a big impact of it. Yeah. Because if you're going to have kids, that means, you know, you got to just automatically take out insurance on the kid. Mm-hmm. That comes out of your check. So if you're a man and that's what you're gonna do, then that's an expense. Yep. If you don't stay with the person that you're with, that means you got child support. Yep. So now you got insurance and child support coming out of your check. Yep. All over again in your 40s. Yeah. And you're like, well, dog, I was finished. I was almost done. Now I gotta start all over again. So those are just real issues that dudes, you know, contemplate when they think about vasectomies and having kids. And it's not something that we do lightly. It's some thought that goes into it. Yeah. I mean, we honestly think a whole lot about it and think, okay, if I'm done with kids, then that's just what it is. And I was at that point where I was done with kids. You know, the person that I was with at that time was my wife, and we weren't married, but she had 2 kids already, and they were 13, 14. So it was pretty much, I was like, nah, I'm good. I'm straight. And even though I didn't have any biological kids of my own, I was still good with it. I had nephews. I got like 40 nephews, 20 nieces. Some of my best friends have kids. And they all grew up together, so it was always like there were always kids there. So I never felt like I was missing anything. Yeah. So I was good with it. Yeah. But a lot of people later in life decide, oh, okay, well, I want kids. And they've already had vasectomies, and they think about getting it reversed, but then they just, most of the times they never do, because it's a lot of pressure. It's a lot of pressure. Oh, shoot. And a lot of things that you have to take in consideration. Yeah. And as much as I love kids, I tell people, kids are meant for young people. They're not meant for old people. Because, you know, you have more patience when you're older, but you have way more energy when you're younger to deal with kids.
Yeah.
And it takes a lot of energy, and it takes a lot of time, and it takes a lot of money for kids.
Yeah. No, I definitely got you. My dad used to call my sister and I crumb snatchers, and not because we used to eat his food, for the money purposes.
Yeah.
So we got a bunch of comments actually. So Tara said it was easier to reverse. Well, we already went over that one. So Tara said she also had her last shot at 43, so it can be a real choice.
Yeah.
So Giovanna said it's an ego thing. Hey Giovanna. So Natanya said, I never heard any man wanting to do it, even if they don't want more kids. Natanya, I know what you mean by that. I have my theories of why, but these two brothers right here, one already got it done. Me, I plan on having it done. As soon as I have my two or whatever that my wife and I decide on, if they're healthy, I'm calling the doctor and say, hey doc. They use a laser now. I think it's super high tech and everything. They use a laser.
Yeah.
So Tara says she knows a few. Kimberly Dixon said, when my brother remarried, his wife didn't have any kids while he already had 2 teens. They ended up having a baby when he was 47 because he didn't want to deny her the opportunity to be a mom.
Yeah.
So
He's a good man.
yeah.
That's all I can say. He's a good man.
Yeah. I don't know if I would have done that, but yeah. Giovanna said men have the easiest and safest birth control options and they still don't want to do it. Giovanna, unfortunately, that is true in way too many cases.
Hey,
that's true.
Because Giovanna, they think that if you go down there playing in that man region, anything that's not gonna make it work, they're not even gonna try it. They're like, oh nah, I just feel like I'm good.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, some guys are just almost, I don't even say superstitious, just a little scary of that kind of stuff. So Natanya said it's a control thing. Definitely agree, Natanya. Tara said, I think it's not talked about enough. The negative mindset and sensitivity is the issue. Yeah, I mean, I definitely would agree. She said we mature-minded over here.
Thank you, Tara. 'Cause that's basically what it comes down to. You got to make a conscious, mature decision to decide that, okay, this is it for me. I'm done with the idea of having kids.
Yeah.
But like I said, for men, it's more financial, for lack of a better word or lack of a better way to just, approach the surgery. It really is financial after a certain point in time.
Yeah. It is. It definitely is. I mean, kids, I think the actual number now, I have to look it up again, but when I last looked it up a few years ago, from infancy to the age of 18, no college, nothing, it was $320,000 for cost of children over the course of, and that's, so if you got 3 or 4, you're looking at $1 million or over $1 million.
I remember reading on Facebook, one dude had put on Facebook that he paid like $16,400 in daycare for a year.
Yeah.
For one kid.
Yep.
So it just gets to be expensive.
Yeah.
It's something that you really need to think about as you age, whether or not you can actually afford to have kids. And a lot of people have kids that can't afford to have kids.
Right. Yeah.
But they do it anyway.
Yeah. That's the ugly truth.
Yeah.
That's not talked about enough as well. So Natanya said she still calls them crumb snatchers. Okay. Yeah. So, one thing before we leave the topic, I will say I did see a question, or one of the women activists that I follow on Facebook. She said she had said that she thinks that from the time that boys or men are able to produce sperm, they should get vasectomies, and then once they're ready financially, mentally, and emotionally to support children, they have it reversed. I saw that too, and I said, "Man, that's
radical."
Yeah, it is a little.
It would control some stuff, but I don't think it's gonna happen.
You think people scary now? Imagine.
Word. The only way that would happen is if they did that from birth.
Yeah.
And then said, okay, we're gonna do that from birth, just like they do circumcisions from birth, and say, okay, we're gonna do it while you're young. That way, you don't have to worry about it. And then when you get older, or give you an age limit. So once you reach 25, we'll reverse it.
Yeah. No, that was an interesting status, and I saw that and I said, man, that's out of a sci-fi movie. Yeah, man, that's
forced sterilization.
Yeah, temporarily even it's still forced. So okay, so our next topic is actually, since we're talking about, we'll stay in the same vein because we got a lot of good topics. So Giovanna had a topic that said men and abortions and what it means to them. And so, we can bridge this with Natanya said, who's going to pay for that foolishness? Taxpayers, same people pay for everything else, me and you and my uncle. So Giovanna has said, yeah, men and abortions and what it means to them. And so, in Alabama, they just passed a law that's, that is banning abortion.
Yeah.
So I think for me, abortion, for the record, if anybody, I'm pretty sure people who know me, who have interactions with me know, or they may be able to tell from my conversation, I'm very much pro-choice. So, I am not in favor of, taking away people's rights with their own bodies. So I'm not gonna go as far as say I'm a fan of abortion, but I am a pro-choice person. So I do not believe in policing women's anything, their bodies, their sexuality, nothing like that. So, I definitely, abortion means to me, it's a choice. Just like anything else that you do with your body, it's a choice. And so, as far as what it means to me, it's just simply that, a choice.
Yeah.
What about you?
I agree. I mean, I've never thought that men should be able to tell women what to do as far as abortions and what they do with their bodies.
Mm-hmm.
But we all know that goes back to the Bible and, men being the supreme ruler of the household and everything else. So some men just take that and just run with it and think, okay, well, God gave me dominion over everything, so I can tell you when, where, and what to do with whatever I want.
Yeah.
And that's the same mindset that they're still using today.
Yeah.
3,000 years later.
Yeah.
Since we left Africa, Egypt, and everything else. I mean, but it's always been that way.
Yeah.
Men have always, tried to control women and tried to control the narrative about women and, when they should have abortions, when they shouldn't, when they should have sex, when they shouldn't. Mm-hmm. It's always been that way. It's probably always going to be that way as long as, we still have that same mindset that, the woman is the inferior person in any relationship. So that's just, how people see it.
Yeah, it's definitely unfortunate. Giovanna said men out here just thinking they can nut at a woman and tell her she can't just have
really?
She can't have an
my.
abortion. Kind of explicit and all that, but as graphic and as straight to the point as that is, Giovanna has a point. Yeah. It's just you have guys out here who just think that they can just make children and not even necessarily care about the person they make the children with or the children, and then have a say-so in what the woman who's supposed to carry the child, birth the child, and then unless she's going to give the child up for adoption, care for the child, they think they can just tell her what to do or that they have a say-so. Mm-hmm. And once you take yourself out the picture, sir, you have no say-so anymore. Yep. And so, it's definitely a choice. And again, I'm not a fan of policing anyone's rights over their body, especially when it comes to something as, extensive as childbirth and carrying a child. I mean, that's a near-death experience for a lot of women. So, or for, all women, I could say, I guess, depending on, I don't want to venture too far, but that's a very traumatic experience, or it can be, it's a very life-changing experience. So I definitely, I'm not going to sit here, and say that, I'm not a fan, you know what I'm saying? I'm not going to say that I'm not a fan or I am a fan. It's just, it's a choice. And women have a choice. They should be responsible for their bodies, even if you help make the baby, it's still her choice as a woman. So, anyways, so Melissa said, hey, Melissa.
Hey, Melissa.
So Melissa says, separation of church and state, the government should not have a say in what a woman does with her body. We agree.
Yeah.
So,
and I think that's where abortions, birth control, they want to control everything. They don't want to pay for you to have an abortion. They don't want to pay for you to have birth control.
Right.
What do you want to pay for?
Yeah.
But when they had the kids, you don't want to pay for
nothing.
Any kind of services, no social services program.
Yeah. So
on one side, you don't want to have an abortion, but on the other side, you don't want to pay for any program for her having these kids.
Yeah. So it's annoying, and it's annoying as hell because there are way too many pro-life people out there who are just pro-fetus, and it's just stupid, and it's annoying, and it really is infuriating when you get down to the bottom. For me, at least. For me. So, Giovanna, we had a lot of comments. Whew. Giovanna said, but the thing is, men who have no idea how a woman's body works, get to make laws on it. Giovanna, there's a lot of lawmakers who, outside of business and just knowing that They have money, don't know anything about anything. So you're exactly right there.
Well, Giovanna, and the reason why is they don't care.
They definitely
just don't care.
Nope.
I mean, they just think, okay, I can legislate this and control it, so why not?
Yeah.
And just like the governor of Alabama, who's a female, she just signed it into law like it was nothing.
Yeah.
But she's 60-something years old.
Yeah.
She ain't worried about no children.
She don't care about. That's right. And I think if it's a re-election cycle, that's probably one of the reasons why she did that. So Natanya said, as a woman, women shouldn't use it as a form of birth control because it's dangerous. I'm not just talking physically, but the option should be there for some cases. And Natanya, I mean I can't argue with that. All I'm saying is I'm pro-choice, and I don't believe in policing anybody's rights with their own body. So I believe if anybody's going to be talking about that, it should be a body of women making that, doing that. So I don't need any say so in that, So I just am a pro-choice man. So Tara said the only control they have, we just covered, vasectomies. Giovanna said men need to have more extensive education on women's bodies. I don't disagree with that.
Now, Giovanna, I don't disagree with it, but I just feel like I don't need any education on your body. That's a decision I shouldn't have a part in anyway.
Yeah.
So that, like you said, that should be a body of women governing what women do.
Right.
I don't think it should be a body of men governing what women do.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. So Giovanna said a woman comes close to death during childbirth. It's more than just rape and incest. No arguments there. She's also said they don't want to pay for sex education in school. Yeah, some schools just don't know if they want it, don't know if they do. If they do want it, it's heavily filtered. It's it's a mess. So Natanya said, I want to make sure that my son understands certain things so he's not caught off guard if he encounters some hoochie mamas. J. Dwayne Garnett said he sent a request. I'm not sure what request did he send. So I don't know what request you sent, Jay, but I haven't seen anything yet. Oh, hold on a second. Oh, goodness. Hold on.
He sent a request for what?
I think to join the live. Let's see. Yeah, we'll see if we can get him on here. So while we're doing that, we'll go ahead and go bounce. So Natanya says sex education was limited to health class in middle and high school. That's the public school system, right? Yeah, Natanya. Yeah, pretty much. In some cases. Natanya also says these people are trying to control their population. Yeah, that's another discussion for another time. What's up, Jay, man?
What's going on, brother?
Hey, how's it going, brother?
I just wanted to tell you thank you guys for holding it down. And I like the conversation. Sounds great. Speak up, Uncle Marcus.
Man, you know I'm sexy. What's wrong with you?
But I'm going to get off because I'm driving. I just wanted to tell you guys I'm still listening to it, though.
Okay, man.
All right. Thank you.
All right, man.
All right, Rose.
All right.
Okay. All right. And so Giovanna said, I'm not surprised at the governor. Women are the main ones that police other women's womanhood. Yeah, Giovanna, unfortunately, that can definitely happen, especially when it comes to Congress and all that. You got a bunch of different agendas. So Giovanna also said it's absence-based sex education here in the South, which we already know doesn't work.
Garbage.
So, oh shoot. Okay. Excuse me, y'all. I gotta plug up my phone here for a second. Oh shoot!
Oh my goodness.
Sorry, y'all. All right, we good. We back. Sorry.
I never left.
All right. So, our next topic of the day is from Natanya. She said, "How do you protect yourselves from the police?" So, as you all know, excuse me, y'all, I'm moving around here. So, as you all know, we're in a pretty hectic time when it comes to, actually, this has been going on for a while. I shouldn't even say that. With the advent of, with social media and all that, we get inundated with it. But, police brutality has been, an issue for, years. So, it's one of those things where we see a lot more of it, and it's really, starting to, just become a thing that I think that some folks are becoming desensitized to, unfortunately. So, as far as protecting yourselves from the police, I don't have a concrete, answer for that. I will just say that I know that when my parents taught me when I was younger, and I've also learned, as well as myself, is that when I encounter police, I just, do as I comply, and I talk really slowly. I speak calmly, and I make sure that my emotions don't get the better of me, even if I'm in the right or the wrong. So, I don't really have a concrete answer for that. I just say to protect yourself is just to comply and be calm, just because the idea is you want to survive the encounter. Now, I will say that I've been in some encounters, most of my encounters with the police have been speeding tickets, but I've gotten speeding tickets in some situations that could have been ugly. Late at night, on back roads, driving, way too fast, so, it's really something that I look back on some situations they could have ended just really, really not in my favor. So, Nathan, I don't have a concrete answer for that. I mean, my answer only is to comply and to be calm and keep your cool. I know that's easier said than done in a lot of situations, as we have seen in the news and all of that. But unfortunately, I don't have an answer for that. I don't know. What do you think, Uncle?
I agree with you wholeheartedly. It's just you have to realize that you're living in a time when there are a lot of black, brown, and other minorities who just don't make it home in situations where a lot of white kids do.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, for them, they don't ever have to leave home and think about being white. It's just, it is what it is.
Yeah.
When we leave home, it's just automatically, we already know there are certain confrontations
Mm-hmm.
that you may not survive.
Yeah.
And just like he said, you may not be in the wrong, but you just need to comply and be calm and just try to get out of that situation. Because I used to tell my son the same thing. The object of any confrontation is to leave it alive.
Yeah.
I don't care if it's the police, gang related, in the parking lot at Walmart. The object is to leave the confrontation alive. And there were times when we were coming up that you would have confrontations, but both people lived.
Mm-hmm.
Now you just never know. I mean, you just never know. So
Yeah.
you just have to, and you just have to desensitize yourself to some stuff that people say to you, because they're trying to provoke you, and they're looking for that response.
Mm-hmm.
They're looking for a reason, to escalate the situation and put you in a compromising position. So what you need to do is basically just stay calm and not put yourself in that position.
Yeah.
Accept whatever it is the officer is giving to you, regardless of whether you're in the right and the wrong. If you can afford an attorney, get one. If you can't, you need to find somebody that can give you legal advice. And I wouldn't recommend using your phones all the time.
Yeah.
Because sometimes cops don't like to be filmed.
Yeah.
That just provokes them even more.
Yeah.
So the object of any confrontation is to leave alive. Period. Point blank.
Yeah. And so it's tough, and that's one of the things where people ask the question, and of course everyone's going to have a different answer. But I don't think there is a one-size-fits-all answer. It just depends. My answer may be different from a guy who's a football player who's can intimidate an officer. I'm not very intimidating. I'm a small stature kind of guy. So, I'm sure that is to my advantage in some situations where, as we've seen, if you're, a big, burly man or just big period, you're intimidating an officer, that could escalate the situation. So it's a lot, and it's unfortunate. As my mom once told me, mom's in the military. She told me that, unfortunately, as black people, we have to go out every day and make critical battlefield-like decisions at an instant every single day. Mm-hmm. And that can wear you down mentally, because that's not the norm. As teenagers and small kids, you have to, in certain situations, certain environments, have those kind of thoughts that you're not even really supposed to be thinking about. You're not even supposed to be in that realm.
Mm-hmm. Like I said, white kids don't think about that.
Yeah.
It's not something that they think about. So when when it happens to a white kid, of course America is shocked because it's like, oh my God, what did he do? You
Right.
know? But with us, it's automatically assumed, oh, he did something.
Yeah.
He must have gotten aggressive with the officer, or you know. And a lot of times, it's the same thing. It's just a different skin tone.
Yeah. No, and unfortunately, that's really a lot of cases. Way too many cases. That's really all it is. So, go back and look at some comments. So, Javonna said, "Can black men really do that?" I don't know, Javonna. That's a great question. She said they try to pick up a black man.
You missed Melissa's comment.
Oh, Melissa said, when we were talking about the last time, she said, let's be real, it's old white men and women who are making these laws to control the poor populations.
And that's 100% correct.
That's a good point, and it's a conversation that...
Well, 98.5% correct.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's going to be somebody that disagrees with it. But I agree with you, Melissa.
Yeah, that's a good point, too.
Yeah.
There's always going to be somebody who disagrees.
Yeah.
So, Giovanna said they tried to pick up a black man in front of his home. It wasn't even the guy they were looking for. We see that all the time. Mistaken identity, and they don't care as long as they get somebody.
Well, we all look the same.
Yep, to them.
To them.
Mm-hmm. Tara said they can't. Women are now included daily in the brutality and fatalities. Yes, unfortunately, black men and women. For the record, we're not just talking about black men. We're talking about black men and women as a whole are definitely the ones that need to be aware and look out. Just because it's really, really tough out there. You never know which officer is going to be having a bad day, or who's going to be just looking to start something or take out some aggression on a civilian. So Javon said that you can still comply and they will mess you up. That's correct.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
I mean, there is no 100% scenario where you're going to come out of that unscathed.
Yeah. Yeah.
Every single time. There's going to be times when you have an officer who is just looking. And I was telling somebody that a lot of times these policemen are just regular dudes. Because a lot of the cops where I'm from are people that went to school with people that they grew up with.
Yep.
And a lot of times these cops, in high school were not the most popular people who were picked on, were bullied, and they want to be police officers because that's a position of authority that gives them power over other people that they never experienced in their entire life.
Yeah.
And with the police officer, you have the power to take a person's life with a gun
And justify it.
and you can get away with it.
Yep.
And we see it every day. And contrary to what people believe, when people see that, that just makes some people say, "Oh, well, I can just go be a policeman."
Yeah.
Because you don't have to you can just go to your local community college and become a policeman.
Yep. Doesn't require.
You don't have to take a psychological exam. You don't have to do any of that stuff.
Yeah.
That's required. You just go take the courses, and the next thing you know, you're on somebody's police force.
Yeah.
And it depends on what kind of training you have. And a lot of times, there are a lot of groups of people who don't deal with black people on a regular basis.
Yep.
Or brown people at all, or any kind of people.
Don't live in a community that has any.
Yeah. Their circle doesn't include that.
Yeah.
So, and a lot of people just don't care.
Yeah.
It's just a lot of just conversations that need to be had that people don't want to have.
Yeah. A lot of conversation, a lot of action. Tara said bad seeds are bad. That's definitely correct. Jay Dwayne Garnett. What's up, Jay, brother? As we just talked to him. What's up again? He said, I remain mindful too. The closest thing is protection. Yeah.
Closest thing to protection.
Closest thing to protection. I'm sorry, Jay. But yeah, that's right. Tara said leave alive is the goal.
Yep.
Kimberly Dixon said there isn't a concrete answer. The encounter can go completely left based on the officer that's stopping you, regardless of what you do. That's absolutely correct. Tara said I look scrappy. You talk about my beard, but no, Tara, I handle myself very well, but I always remain mindful because again, as being the part of the community we're in, the melanated community, we always have to be on point out here. So, yeah. But you're right though. You're right. So Jay said representation matters. He said that black people need to be in the offices or be officers as well. I'm both. Need to be in office and be officers. I'm definitely agreeing with that. And so Kimberly Dickens said that's a valid point, Uncle. I have always believed that psych evaluation should be required for all emergency type workers. And it's true. They should be. I mean, they should have regular drug testing and they should have psych evaluations because you have some cops out here who are on steroids or all stuff, and that's why they're so aggressive. Yeah. So, all those are good points. So, we'll move on to the next topic. So, Natanya says her topic is how should women protect themselves if you aren't available? and how do we ask for help in the public from aggressors? So this is a really heavy topic, and Tan, you really came with it today. So, but we appreciate you though. You know, I will say that I have sisters. I have women in my life that are, you know, I'm not related to, that are very important to me. You know, so this is really a heavy topic for me. You know, so for women, when men aren't available, because some men feel like if they're not connected to you in some way, if they're not physically intimate with you, if you're not related to them, if they don't know you, if you're not their friend or coworker, some men they won't help you. They won't help women at all, even if in the most dire situations. And it's really unfortunate. It's really sick. So I would say that first and foremost, as a woman, you know, I would recommend just having a gun or mace or a billy club or a taser or all of them. You know, self-defense courses, all of that. You know, this is not just something I'm saying just to say it. This is something I've said to my own sister. I've said this to my own sister on many occasions, because unfortunately there are some bros out there who just are not going to stick their neck out for a woman or anybody really, but especially a woman in a precarious situation. And it is unfortunate. As far as asking for help from, you know, people when you're in a dire situation, I mean, I believe that, you know, a brother that really cares about women, or, you know, just in general, you wouldn't have to ask. You wouldn't have to ask. That brother would see that the kind of situation, assess it, and even if it's not a situation where you're in, you know, really, really extreme danger, he's still going to step in and say, hey, you know, is everything okay? Like, what's going on here? And try to figure out what's going on. So as far as asking for help, aside from coming out and asking for help, I don't believe that there's a way to unconsciously or just, you know, from a non-verbal standpoint, ask for help. That's my opinion, though. Uncle, what do you think?
Well, I think it all depends on the situation. If it's confrontational, then I usually tell George, just act crazy, scream, act like he's killing you before that all takes place. Just make a scene,
right?
So that, you know, people know that you're in trouble. If you're being followed, drive to the police station.
Yeah.
Drive to a fire department. Drive to somewhere where you know somebody. Don't stop. I've always told women, just like I told my daughter, if you're in a car accident, if somebody hits you from behind and they get out the car, you don't get out the car. You don't roll the window down. You don't do anything. Because a lot of people will use tactics like that to make you vulnerable. Because you're not thinking, oh, this person is trying to, you know, snatch me or kidnap me. This person, you know, you just think, oh, this fool hit my bumper.
Right.
And you just automatically get out the car. And the next thing you know, you're in somebody's car. It's just really, it's really a precarious situation. Because I've known of situations where women who have been with men who are abusers, and men have stepped in, and a week later she's with that same dude.
Right.
So now you're putting yourself at risk, liability, and you're also putting yourself at risk of death.
Right.
Because there are a lot of dudes that are just flat crazy. I've had women tell me all the time, you know, dudes have tried to approach them, and if they don't talk to them, the dude cuss them out and get all aggressive and all that stuff. There are just certain situations where it's just judgmental that you can't intervene.
Right.
Even if you want to, because the person is just that deranged sometimes.
Right.
And we all been in relationships where, you know, we've been in arguments and, you know, it's gotten really heated, and you feel like it's gonna be physical.
Right.
So you just need to separate yourself from that. But for women, it's really a hard subject, because if we're not around, like I said, the only thing I can tell you to do is just make a scene.
Yeah.
As much as you can.
Yep.
If there's nobody around, it's a judgment call. You can either try to make a scene, try to dial 911, do something, but do anything that will, you know, bring attention to the situation.
Yeah.
If you dial 911 and you don't say anything, they're gonna triangulate your phone and try to find you anyway.
Yep.
So it's a hard question, but I agree with nephew. I believe in carrying guns.
Yeah.
I believe in using them.
Yep.
So before I let you hurt me, I'm gonna hurt you.
Yeah.
So that's just the way it is.
Yeah.
But that's nobody's intention. I've told people, I've known people who have guns and The only time they shoot them is 4th of July, Christmas,
At the range.
Rabbit hunting,
Yeah.
or just, in general. I've never known anybody that actually wanted to shoot somebody.
Yeah.
So it's not like that's something everybody wants to do, but at some point in time, when you feel like your life is in danger, hey, that's what you do. And I do recommend all women take concealed carry courses, go to the range, and do anything you need to do to defend yourself.
Yeah, I'm definitely agreeing with that. You carry, you have anything you need, and so again, it's one of those things where there are way too many unstable guys out there, and and it's just it's touchy, and of course you don't want to hurt anybody, but like my uncle said, before I let someone hurt me, I'm gonna hurt you. I'm gonna make it home, and I'm gonna be safe. I'm gonna make sure of that. The aftermath of that, we deal with that later. But I'm going to protect myself first and foremost, and I believe that all women should definitely take that into take that approach. So definitely, Giovanna, she basically said the same thing you said, Uncle. She said men have to be careful because some good men have died trying to help a woman who is in distress, and then she goes back to the guy.
Yeah.
So that's definitely a real thing.
It's the situation. It depends on the situation.
Yeah.
And as men, it's tough for us to judge because we're looking at you and thinking that you need help.
Right.
And then we're actually putting ourselves in harm's way.
Yeah.
Trying to help you. And then if nothing escalates and then we see you again and you're with the same dude, that makes us not want to help the next chick. It's like, yo, I don't know what this chick gonna do.
Yeah.
They're gonna break up this week, but they're gonna be back together next week.
Yep.
And you don't want to subject yourself to that.
Yeah. It's definitely a risk all around.
Yeah.
That's no question. It's a risk all around.
And once again, with men, it comes back to financial risk because if you happen to beat this dude up
and he sues you, press charges,
anything.
Yeah.
So now you on the hook again for something else, for helping somebody else. So it's really, it really takes some thought, and it really takes some. You really have to judge for yourself and just be able to live with what you see and go home and be okay with it.
Yeah.
Most men are not going to go. They're just going to take the risk.
Yeah.
If they feel like it's genuine. But you can best believe if it happens again, it won't be no risk taking. It'll be like, yo, you like that. Obviously, you're in a situation where your self-esteem allows you to think that that's how he loves you. So that's why you stay. So, but like you say, it's a judgment call.
Yeah. So Tara said, we talked about this during the sexual harassment segment. We waste time trying to figure out if we're in danger of being paranoid. We have to train ourselves to function in danger, look crazy, scream anyway, just like you said, Uncle. And so Giovanna said, that's why I tell women it's not you in an abusive relationship. She said people in general need to be more aware of their surroundings instead of in their phones.
Now that I agree with. I have told many a woman leaving the gym, leaving the grocery store, leaving the mall, you need to pay attention. Put your phone down long enough to get in your car.
Yeah.
Because that's what most people are looking for. They're looking for you to be distracted. And if you're distracted and people are walking up on you, especially if you got earphones in, if you got those Beats on, if you got those new AirPods.
Yep.
That look hot, and it's like, yo, I can't hear nothing behind me.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, you wake up, you're in somebody's trunk.
Yeah.
So please, women, be aware of what you're doing.
Yeah. No, definitely. I definitely agree. Let's see what we got topic-wise. We really rolling today, and it's we only got 15 minutes left. So we actually had a kind of, I don't want to call it a surprise, topic, but had a topic today. Someone inboxed me and asked me to talk about a topic, so I won't say any names. But the question or topic they had was, and this is going to be kind of a segmented question because it deals with a certain population of people. So she actually said, let's see. Let me just pull this back up real quick. Okay, so the question that she posed, which is a woman, the question she posed was, why don't she did say some, why don't some black men talk to or pursue black women? She said that the last couple guys she's dated have not been black, and she just wants to know what our opinion is. She knows it's a loaded question, but she wanted some insight from two, brothers like ourselves.
You want me to say?
Go ahead, Uncle. You first. You were the elder statesman in the room, so you go ahead.
I think that a lot of brothers really just are turned off by black women because of the black women they have dealt with.
Mm-hmm.
It's not all black women. It's that sample of black women that they have dealt with.
Mm-hmm.
And that sample they had has been troublesome to them.
Okay.
It's created problems. It's not been supportive.
Mm-hmm.
It's been combative.
Mm-hmm.
It's just not been a good experience for them.
Yeah.
And it could be 2 women or it could be 10 women.
Mm-hmm.
But those 2 to 10 women that he's dealt with has left a sour taste in his mouth. So he's decided if these women are like this, then all black women are like this. Mm-hmm. So I'm just gonna abstain from anything black.
Yeah.
Not knowing that there are plenty of good black women out there.
Mm-hmm.
Now, don't get me wrong. Sisters can be difficult. But all women can be difficult.
Right.
Sisters more so because I think they deal with a whole lot more than a lot of other women.
Mm-hmm.
I think they by the nature of being black, they deal with a whole lot more.
Yeah.
And just by the nature of what the black community is now.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody says there's a shortage of black men. No, there's a shortage of the black man that they want.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody wants the same thing. 6 foot tall, 100K a year, drive a sweet car, got a $200,000 house, best lover in the world, most attractive. Everybody wants that.
Yeah.
Everybody wants the same thing.
Yeah.
And I always tell women, but if you want him,
Mm-hmm.
10 other women want him.
Mm-hmm. So
as men, we are like, we just feel like we can pick and choose.
Right.
We depending on where you live, Raleigh, Durham, Atlanta, LA, you tripping over butt walking out the house. Oh my God, some more butt. Oh, it's just so much. So it's just and today's mentality is, that you can get what you want without having to make a commitment to get it.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of men just, they do it and then they just deal with a lot of black women, and then when it leaves a sour taste in their mouth, they just feel like they just want to move on to another ethnic group altogether. Because from what I've been told, that other ethnic groups are more submissive.
Mm-hmm.
They're less combative.
Yeah.
They're more supportive. I don't agree with it,
Mm-hmm.
but I've been told about it. So that's my take on it.
Okay. Now you bring up some good points, Uncle. Before I get into my segment, I will say that Tara said, for some men it's as simple as misplaced status, just like not shopping local or black businesses. Writing off a whole race is a ridiculous absolute. I agree. I don't like to deal in generalizations or absolutes. It's just, I leave that for the comedians, and even then, it's comedy. So, Giovanna said, she said it doesn't even have to be women they date. It usually starts at home with a raggedy ghetto mom, sister, cousin, or auntie treat them other black men like shit. She also said you're wrong for that, Uncle. So you said. So.
Hey Tara, I'm sorry. I just try to keep it real, baby.
So Don Shell's entered the room. Hey Don Shell. So what I will say is that I'll say this first and foremost. Whenever I run into or talk to a woman that says she is not meeting or talking to, she can't get the kind of guy that she's interested in, or this and that, or is just not having good luck with that. The first thing I ask now, so this has been over the past couple of years, the first thing I ask, I do this for men and women, but we're talking about women right now, so we're going to keep it that way. The first thing I ask is, 2-part question. Actually, it's just one question. The men that you like, or the men that you like or that you'd want to date potentially, are you putting yourself in the position to be seen and to interact with those men? That is the first thing I ask. Because if you, and I'll say this because you know what? One of my friends, she's a good friend of mine. She said that, she wanted to meet a guy who was, didn't like to go out all that much, who was cool but just quiet and just like to chill and this and that. But she's a homebody. You know what I said to her? I said, if you're a homebody and he's a homebody, how are y'all gonna meet?
Yeah.
How are you gonna meet? He's gonna walk into the neighborhood one day and knock on your door. It's just not gonna. You might as well just play the lotto a couple times. Yeah. So that's the main thing. That's the first thing I ask when I'm talking to women about dating and stuff like that. Is are you putting yourself out there? Are you going to places or going to events, going to meetups, putting yourself in different groups of people where the men that you like are in that group? Because if you're not, then that's your first issue. That's because you're not putting yourself. You have to do the work. It's the movies tell you that you're just gonna be in a place and the guy's gonna run into or you're gonna find, or the person's gonna find you. I don't think that's how real life works. I will never be a fan of that. I think that you still have to put in the work for what you want. Even if it means going to places and talking to people. I mean, in my opinion, you need to put yourself out there and go meet people. I mean, it's just sitting around waiting for someone is not going to work. I'm not saying that she's doing that, everyone else is doing that, but to me, that's not a solid way of doing it. It's not efficient, and it's just going to just have you just waiting around. So the other thing I will say is that as far as, black men who do not deal with black women, I will say that there's a lot, not only is that definitely a loaded question, but there's a lot of things to consider there. Like Javonna said, you consider upbringing. If the brother has not had positive black women or women that really made a positive impact on his life, his foundation is already messed up. So he's going to be coming through life already messed up. Now, that's not, as an adult, that's something that he needs to address and get help with /for. As a kid, as an adolescent, as a teen, that is the fault of his environment. The people that are supposed to be around him and be guiding him. But as an adult, if that, especially if he knows that has a great effect on him, he should be taking care of that. So upbringing is definitely, a factor. And also what my uncle said as far as the track record. Now, it's not fair that some brothers or some people in general just date a couple people and then they write off a certain characteristic or a certain group of people. It's not fair. Mm-hmm. However, people do it. Mm-hmm. Like my uncle said, brothers will date 2 or 3, sisters, and then if it doesn't turn out right, whether it was their fault or a mutual fault or whatever, don't turn out right, and they just write off sisters altogether. It's not right. For the record, I'm saying it's not right, and to me, it's quite dumb. However, brothers do it. Yeah. So, there's numerous reasons why brothers don't deal with why black men don't deal with black women, and none of them, in my opinion, are good reasons. I mean, there's a lot of stuff. I mean, you have some of us who they don't like themselves. They don't like the blackness within themselves, and so they're not going to date black women because they really hate themselves. So of course they're not going to date the other side of themselves, which is the black woman. So it's a lot, and so. It's just something that one thing I would say to her is just keep pushing and just keep putting yourself out there. Dating is not easy. I call it playing the odds. You are literally going out there, you're meeting people, you're talking and stuff like that. You're playing the odds, and while the odds are pretty good in my opinion, because there's billions of people out there, it's still a journey and it still takes work. Contrary to popular belief, we all have to do work in this dating game. We all have to do work. I'm a single man, and I think that work looks different to some people. So that but we all have to be out there and we all have to work. We all have to put in work. Yeah. So that's one of the things. Is definitely putting yourself out there and making yourself visible.
And it is tough. It really is tough. I mean, but I don't think I could ever date anything but a sister. I don't think I can marry anything but a sister. Yeah. But I just tell people, and I tell them, women in general, the most important thing is, does the person that you want you?
Ooh, yeah. That's the other thing.
So you want this cat.
Talk about it, Uncle. Does
this cat want you?
Yeah.
Because you can want him all day long. And just like I tell a lot of people, if you like Coke, and somebody's giving you free Coke, you're going to drink it and keep going back and getting it.
Yeah.
And I tell women that all the time. As long as you are letting him do what he wants to do, he's going to do what he wants to do.
Yeah.
So you got to make sure that the man that you want wants you.
Yeah.
You can want him. He can have all the attributes that you look for. But if he doesn't want you, except for whatever he wants you for, then it's no good. There are some men who like what they like.
Yeah.
I mean, there are some dudes who like Spanish girls. There are some dudes who like Asian girls. That's their attraction. But say that.
Right.
Don't date a whole bunch of sisters knowing that you're not attracted to them.
Right.
That's not what you're attracted. You're just going out to be going out.
Yeah.
And I tell people that all the time. I'm a firm believer in dating, but I think that you should date cautiously. Because once again, we're back to finance. It costs a lot of money to take women out.
Yep.
You can spend easy $300 or $400 a month dating.
Yep. Especially if you like good food, good places.
And we as men, we try to impress you when we date you. So if you're dating numerous women, that can be expensive at a certain point in time. I just recommend that, like I tell most dudes, find you a nice girl, a nice lady, nice woman that you like. Now, I'm not saying don't date. Just don't go out to Ruth Chris Steakhouse every time you date. Yeah. Some people you got to take to the movies. Yeah. Some people you got to meet at Starbucks.
Hey, to go play pool. Yeah. Go get a couple of drinks.
Yeah. So. But now, I also say if you're dating them, if you want to go take somebody on a date and you tell them, well, let's just meet at Starbucks for coffee and talk, and they're like, oh, that's a cheap date. You might want to just go ahead and bypass that person because it's not going to get any cheaper. Yeah. It's probably going to get even more expensive. Yeah. And as dudes, you know, I just feel like your money could be better spent. Yeah. And you don't have to spend as much of it as to find somebody that's really compatible with you.
No, I agree. My Uncle Marcus has always told me, and it really, really hit home for me in my mid-20s, he's always said, you can like who you like, but focus on the people who like you. Yeah. Focus on the group of people who are giving you the energy and the time and the attention that you want. Focus, find out who likes you, and then go from there. And that's some of the best advice he's ever given me, you know, among a lot of other stuff.
Yeah. So, if the person you like doesn't like you, you're wasting your time.
Yeah. So we've got a couple comments here. Well, we're gonna address these and then we'll wrap up. So Tara says they don't want to admit it, but folks need to learn to assess energy. These grocery lists of characteristics is a block. I agree. Having a laundry list of characteristics that you want is just, to me, it's just setting yourself up for failure. My mom always said, you can have a list of 10 things that you want, but when it comes to a person, find a person you want, you're gonna probably give 4 of those. You need to work with the rest.
Well, see, and that's what and my sister and I have talked about this. You're never gonna find somebody that's gonna be 100% of you want. Yeah. That's what your friends and family come in for, the part that you don't have. Yeah. If this dude is 75% of you want, then your girlfriends or your dudes, or your cousins or your co-workers or your good friends, they feel the other 25%. Yeah. Because you're not gonna find somebody that's gonna be 100% of what you want. It never has happened, and it probably never will. Well, maybe Russell Wilson. But that's about it.
Yeah, no, I agree. And we love Russell for the record. So, Giovanna said, the thing that is about options. Black men have more choice to date outside their race. The black man is attracted to all races. But black women are stigmatized, have a stigmatism of being difficult, and it follows us. Yep. And our features and natural hair have been deemed as unattractive worldwide, so it's really about the options, the 80-20 theory. I agree. I agree in a way too many cases, Giovanna, that is true. You have brothers like myself and Uncle Marcus that while we can really recognize the attraction in other ethnic groups, black women that's where our heart is. So I definitely agree with what you're saying, and that and it is true in way too many cases. Miss Joy said it doesn't cost a lot to date. Too many affordable free things to do, discounts and coupons. That is true, Miss Joy. You just got to be creative. Yeah. That's true. And so Tanisha said, hey Tanisha, she said, look, Antoine, your brother.
That's my niece.
So the last comment we're going to address before we wrap up for the day is Tori Newton. So Tori says, my nephew doesn't date black girls. When I asked him why, he said most of black girls at his school say he's lame. Do you think this could be a casualty in some cases, or causality? Excuse me, Tori. He said, do you think this could be a causality in some cases? Do you know, like the Childish Gambino situation? So I'm going to say this right here. So in high school, I was a little bit different than I am now. I was a bookworm. I was very introverted. I knew people, but I just kept to myself, and I hung around a very diverse group of people. When it comes to, black men saying, yeah, well, in high school, I liked black girls, but they said I was lame and this and that. First of all, high school kids, as a lot of high schools are, can be brutal. That's a very brutal environment. You know, there's self-esteem is being formulated, torn down, all that. And so, you know, being picked on, being roasted that's a daily thing. And so to use that as justification is extremely hollow. Second of all, that's high school, man. You know, we're grown men now. So for a grown black man to use as an excuse for not dating black women, to me, is sorry as hell. And I will say it to any man that tries to use that as an excuse, is sorry. You know, that was years ago. There are things we did in high school that we look at now and say, oh, damn, that was dumb. Mm-hmm. And so that should be one of them. Man, I said black girls didn't like me because I was lame in high school. No, that's dumb. The other thing is, and that's the last thing I passed to Uncle Marcus, is what kind of women, I would ask you, Tori, to ask, you know, your brother, what kind of women in high school was he going after? If you're the bookworm who likes comic books and stuff like that, and you're trying to go after
the head cheerleader.
Yeah, the most popular cheerleader who likes athletes like they do in the movies, it's not a movie. That's probably not gonna work. She's not into you. Yeah. Again, it's to the realm of
who wants you?
Who wants you?
Yeah.
If you a bookworm and you like comic books and you like, not saying that cheerleader who's popular can't like that stuff, you know, but chances are, especially in high school where there's a lot of cliques and groups involved, that there is a bookwormish, you know, shy, introverted black girl who likes stuff just like you, and y'all can get along together. It's just that, you know, sometimes guys have this fantasy or have this thing, or they watch too many movies and think, oh, I'm gonna go after the woman that everybody wants. And then when she curbs him or doesn't want him, it's, oh man, you know, or it calls him lame for whatever reason, that it's messed up, man. She's this and he's that. And it's putting your energy in the wrong place and not being smart about where you put your time, where you invest your time and put your energy into. You know, so the Childish Gambino thing, I think the same thing about him. He said that black girls didn't like him in high school. He said, dude, so I thought, which black girls were you going after? Are you going after the ones that didn't like you? Because that's the definition of insanity. Doing things that don't work and expecting a different result every time.
Yeah. Well, it's just like when every dude has liked a girl who was beautiful, mm-hmm. and felt like he wasn't good enough for that girl. Mm-hmm. Only to later find out that, oh, yeah, I probably would have dated you, or I probably would have talked to you, but you never said anything.
Yeah.
So, I always told my brother coming up, yo, you shoot your shot. Mm-hmm. There's only two things she can say, yes or no.
That's correct.
So once you do that, at least you know where you stand. Now, you know, my other part was that, well, do you got a sister or a cousin who might want to holler at me? Because, you know, just because we don't connect don't mean... And people think that that's crude, but it's not. Because I'm not saying that that's what you should do, but I also feel like if we hook up and we go out and nothing comes of it, mm-hmm. I don't think that should take me off the market for every girl that's your friend or your cousin or something like that.
Yeah.
Because you may have a cousin who may be just a dude, just a girl for him. Or you may have a cousin who's just, you know, what he's looking for.
Right.
Just because you didn't have a connection doesn't mean somebody else doesn't. Yeah. So, you know, it's still about what you want and who wants you.
Right.
Because that's, in the end, that's all that's gonna matter. And in high school, like you said, everything. Nobody's really into anybody in high school. We know who the most popular people in high school are. They're the athletes, cheerleaders, or just the gorgeous girls who are just gorgeous.
Yeah.
And everybody wants to be with them or be around them and everything. And it really doesn't change much as you get older. The only difference is a lot of times the most attractive people in high school don't end up being the most attractive people. The most attractive people end up being your average everyday people, mm-hmm. who mature, who go to college, who go to school, who get a good job, who understand that life is more than just your physical features.
Yeah.
Life is about, you know, finding somebody that you connect with.
Yeah.
And if you find somebody you connect with, then you should be good. And the physical part is always going to go away in time. Yeah. So find somebody you care about, find somebody that cares about you. Most of the time, you'll be good.
Yeah. So, all right. So we got to wrap up. So Tori says, I agree, but at the same time, we all know that even the most insignificant bad experiences can cause long-lasting trauma in some people. Yep. Tori, hey, that's true, man. And you know, that's up to that person to especially if they're an adult, which what we're talking about here, that's up to them, in my opinion, to take that and to get help with that and process that, man. It's just, they can't put that on other people. They shouldn't.
Go Go see a psychiatrist.
Yeah,
go talk to a psychologist.
Yeah.
Go talk to somebody.
Yeah.
If
So-
you really have those deep-rooted issues and you need to talk to somebody, you need to talk to somebody professionally.
Yeah.
Don't go talk to the dude at the bar. Talk to somebody professionally and get some help.
Yeah.
Because you have some issues and they're keeping you from being the best person that you can be.
Yeah, no, I agree. So, Uncle, we're 5 minutes over. We're sorry, y'all, but we're gonna wrap up.
Take it and like it.
So, Uncle, at the end of Brother Pound, we always do positive brother shout out. So go ahead and shout out all any positive brothers that come to mind.
Hey, shout out to my brother Antoine who was on here tonight.
Okay, what's up, Antoine?
Shout out to Keon, I see he's on here.
Keon, my man, what's up?
Shout out to my 52 brothers at the card game. I missed again tonight. Shout out to the 06s, 1906. Shout out to nephew and brother Garnett for letting me sit in tonight. I enjoyed it. I appreciate it. I could do this every day.
Yeah. This is really, I like it a lot. So let me change it. I love this. So positive brother shout out. Of course, all my uncles. Of course, my uncle Marcus, who's everybody's uncle, but really still mine. You know what I'm saying? So my uncle Marcus, my uncle Antoine. Of course, I'm gonna shout out to brother Jay. Some of the brothers that are on the live today: Terrence, Tori, Isaiah. Any other brothers who are going to watch this later on, and the other brothers that we're going to meet in the future are going to come to the events, and that are, and as Jay says, the brothers that don't have time to tune in because they're working or doing this and they have a lot going on. They might be asleep right now because they got to get up and go to work early in the morning. Shout out to those brothers too. All those brothers are positive brothers. So we love each and every one of y'all. So again, sorry we went over tonight. We're really passionate about the issues and about the topics. And so Natanya and everyone else who submitted the topic, we definitely appreciate y'all. This was great. So I loved having, co-hosting with my uncle here. And so we're going to bid y'all a good night and we'll see y'all next week. So good night, y'all.